The worst thing in the world that people could have done is given me a mic and told me to talk. Does it matter if it sells or not? Not necessarily. And I also texted my group of girlfriends. Every single one of them were like, this is atrocious. Weddings with Laur. We're going to sit here, we're going to talk, we're going to yap, we're going to drink coffee, maybe adult beverages, and we're going to talk about all things weddings in a real way, in an unfiltered way. Let's just talk to people who are planning weddings like they're human beings. Let's answer questions. Let's give real opinions. Like, yes, at the end of the day, there are no rules that you can do when you have a wedding. Let's just have real conversations about it. I'm in a really unique position where I'm in the industry, so I'm seeing this firsthand. I'm someone who's gone through it. Half of my friends are engaged right now, so my whole next year to 2 years to 3 years is weddings and being in that space as someone who's not just like shooting them, but someone who's intimately involved in them. And also too, like, I think that there are a lot of things about weddings that we can take into our lives. That's Weddings with Laur. So what is New York Bridal Fashion Week? A couple months ago, we wrapped up New York Bridal Fashion Week, and now I finally have put together my words, my thoughts, and my feelings to be able to talk about it. The easiest way to think about it is that when you go to the wedding dress shopping experience, you typically walk into a boutique that has multiple different designers in one place, unless you are going to like, you know, Jenny U, and all Jenny U is going to have is her stores. But like if you go to an atelier, if you go to your local boutique, typically you walk in and there are about, 10, 20 different designers that are there. What happens is that those boutiques, the people who own them, go to showcases, they go to markets, they go to things like Bridal Fashion Week where they meet the designers, they get to see the dresses in person, and they pre-buy them to bring them in the store. So that is what Bridal Fashion Week is. It is showcases, it is markets, it is runway shows that are happening to where the dresses that are debuting, boutiques and stores are buying them directly from the designers. And what's great is like, you have people from Kleinfeld's there. You have people from like the first boutique I ever worked at was a place called J. Andrews in Peachtree City, Georgia. Like they're buying dresses there. And typically you're seeing stuff that's going to debut on the runway now, but are going to probably be in stores 6 months later. And then you can then buy them. There is a lot of status. There is a lot of kind of flashiness that's currently happening in the Bridal Fashion Week space, and a little bit less fashion than I wanted to see. Over the past couple of years, especially even in my experience, I started going to New York Bridal Fashion Week in 2021, and there have been more and more vendors going, meaning like wedding planners, photographers, videographers, florists, things of that nature, more influencers going, whether they're directly in the bridal influencer sphere or even just influencers who are getting married and have publicized the fact that they're doing it. And so yeah, let's talk fashion. Let's talk what is hot on the runways, what I think people are going to think about it, and ultimately like what we'll end up seeing over the next couple of years. Bridal Fashion Week will influence weddings over the next couple of years. It always does. And some I think good and some I think not so good. Okay, the number one thing I saw on runways this year was the Basque Waist. Made popular by Alexandra Cooper. Lots of designers have been designing the drop waist, the Basque Waist. It's giving Bridgerton core. It's giving Regency core. Alex Cooper got married this year and she wore a drop waist dress, and it's kind of been everywhere ever since then. So I don't think like Alex started it, but she's definitely made it more popular. And every single designer that I saw on the runway this year had a Basque Waist. And so you can obviously, that's hot. You can obviously see that that's in. But I think that's really interesting because I've never shot a wedding with someone who's worn a Basque Waist. There, I'll say it. It's not to say that they won't wear it or not to say that it's not in. And I also texted my group of girlfriends, and every single one of them were like, this is atrocious. This looks absolutely gorgeous on this model, but with me or like with hips or with anyone who's not a 000, like tiny, tiny skinny girl, it's going to look horrible. This is one of those things where we're seeing the industry so push this on people, so push this as this is haute couture, this is high fashion, is this is this Basque Waist, is this like what, if you want to be featured in Vogue or like what everyone's wearing is this, but our everyday consumer, like the girls who are looking at this are like, yeah, absolutely not. I'm not wearing that. That dichotomy I think is like so just fascinating to me, Now, is it beautiful? Yes. Is it actually seeing fashion instead of like repeating the same things that we've seen for 3 years? Yes. Does it sell? Who knows? I think on a level like from a commercialization standpoint, like these brands will be fine. The thing that I think is a beautiful thing about weddings is that it is so easy to keep styles from like 20, 30, 40 years. You know, Casablanca Bridal, a brand who I've worked with intimately, like one of their biggest things is they've never retired a style, you know. So if you see something from 20, 30, 40 years ago, because of how wedding dresses are made, they are not just like made, sit in a factory. You're like, oop, I want wedding dress 47217, and then they're like, okay, let me ship it to you. Like what essentially happens is you go in, you try on a wedding dress, it's a sample, they take your measurements, and then they're custom making for the majority of wedding dresses. They're custom making that dress then to your measurement. Does it matter if it sells or not? Not necessarily. Are the designers virtue signaling? Yes. And what are those virtues? Those virtues to me, as someone who just like interpreted that, is like a size 0 skinny white girl. For me, that's not even half of my clientele, let alone half of the people who get married. What I will say on the Basque Waist is you should still try, like if you're going wedding dress shopping, you should still try one on. I have tried on a couple of them, and I think something that is hard until you are shopping for a wedding dress or in that phase is that like wedding dresses, depending on where you're going, are just made so differently. Best example that I can always give is I was like, oh, I will never wear a strapless dress on my wedding day because like I have side boob that pops over and I don't like the way that my arm fat comes off in this. And then like what I'm normally wearing is like a $20 bra from TJ Maxx on like, that's what my strapless bras look like, you know? But in a wedding dress, there is boning and there are corsets, and there are elements of a dress that are just made at a higher quality than like what I'm typically buying at TJ Maxx. So you should try one on, because like I tried one on, I love the way it worked. They still can be pretty. They still virtue signal, but they're pretty. Okay, so what is in and what is out 2025 bridal fashion? Bows are out, capes are in, sparkles are out, lace is back. Lace is always interesting because lace is always in and out and in and out, but we're back into loving lace. This one is so subjective, but like whatever. Multiple wedding dress changes are out, but what's in is like 2-in-1, 3-in-1 looks. Okay, what are my thoughts about any of these? Okay, so let's start with bows and capes. Okay, capes are in, they're hot. They look great. I've shot weddings with them. They look beautiful. You can, if you're not into a veil, you can do a cape. You can add them in really beautiful pieces that like drape off of your shoulders or like add attachments to like the back of your dress. Like they can be done really beautiful. Bows are out, thank God. I've been over the bows. I love the bows. I did the whole, like I did a Christmas party and we put bows on our thingies and like very croquette-y. What is it? Very coquettish. That's a crazy word that we were using. Everyone is really focused on this like timeless, but then you have trends, and like trends is the antithesis of timeless, you know? So we saw bows be this huge thing over like the past 2 years in everything from decorations to dresses to fashion to all of these things. And then like now it's capes, and great, they're awesome and they're beautiful, but like those two things, like again, timeless, trendy, what does that mean? What should we do with that? Yeah, so I think that's just like very interesting, especially in like bridal fashion, in which like it's premiering on a runway in fall of 2024. You're not going to see it in a store until like spring of 2025, and you're not actually probably going to wear that until fall of 2025. So like the thing that's like trendy right now, you are not actually going to put on a dress to wear to a wedding until like a year from now. And like, is that still trendy then? What's been hot over the past couple of years is doing like multiple outfit changes. I've seen couples who've done 2 outfit changes, 3 outfit changes, even 4 outfit changes. And I think if like you love fashion, like that is something that I think that you can like really, really lean into and can be so fun. Or like if you just want to be comfortable, people always forget you're in your wedding dress for like 12 hours before you actually take it off. But yeah, so I think it's really cool if like there is always a sub category of people who are not sure if they want to do multiple outfits or not, who really like fall in love with their dress. And so I think these like convertible dress options, so things that have like overskirts or maybe they have detachable sleeves, these are things, I have been saying this for years, but these are the things I want to see more of Bridal Fashion Week. Number 1, more affordable options for people. Number 2, more inclusivity. Number 3, more Black people. Like that's always, I've been saying it for years. I still want to see it. It felt weird this year. Like again, when I went in 2021, there was a big push for body inclusivity and diversity, and I saw a lot of plus size models and a lot of ranges of hair textures and colors of individuals and races and ethnicities. We're seeing less of that. what's the implication there? What does that mean? For me personally, like as a bender, as a Black female, like that is important. But what are the things that we had fun with? Because we can be critical of things and we can also hold space to have fun and like really cool and exciting opportunities. I started the week off, the Knot had a tastemakers dinner where, oh my God, walking into the hotel, saw Renee rap. Did I even tell you that? No. Yeah, isn't that so cool? I didn't do anything because I was kind of
for the event?
No, she was not there for the Knots event. She was there just being at that hotel or whatever, which was so cool. It was funny. I walked into the event and I was like, hey guys, I just met Renee. I didn't. I just like kind of was like, I was like, what if I would have brought her as my plus one, you know? Anyway, that was super special because it was a curated group of people, lots, mostly influencers who had just gotten engaged, were being brought into like the Knots network. There were also a couple different wedding content creators there, which is always so fun, and a couple different stylists. I love the Knots team. I also love just getting to like meet new people. I meet new couples all the time when they hire me, but sometimes it's like fun to go to something and not be like, let me pitch you on why you should hire me, or like it's just fun to talk to people and like hear their love stories and things like that. So that was a super fun event that I got to go to. I also went to Christian Siriano, debuted his collection, which was 12 wedding gowns and 18 different bridesmaids dresses, all $1,200 or below, which again, when we talk about affordability in the wedding world, really, really great. That was, again, super fun. They had really good burgers there. That's what I remember from it. So they had good burgers that I ate while I was there. There were a couple different events that really surprised me. One of them being Alyssa, I'm going to forget the last name, but I'll pop it up. It was my first time ever seeing her showcase, and the cool thing that she was debuting were mix and match minis. So the idea is she designed like 6 different tops, bodices, and 6 different bottoms, and you essentially could mix and match what you want to create your perfect like bridal mini. I just think that is like so fun, whether it's for your wedding, bachelorette, like bridal shower. That idea is fun. I think it puts power into the people who are getting married, lets them like kind of own that, and it's not like you just like pick 2 and wear them. Like you tell them what you want it to look like, and then they sew it together and like give you an actual dress. So I also went to Inez DeSantos and Bobby Brown did a bridal makeup class that I kind of squeamed my way into after almost having a panic attack at the Inez DeSanto event because it was literally packed wall to wall. But that private Bobby Brown class, that was fun. I also really had fun at markets. Markets are designed for like people who are like own bridal boutiques to then like buy dresses to take to them. But I always like to make a dedicated effort there because there are just some people who cannot afford to do runway shows or who cannot afford to showcase in these big ways. And so I got to meet, talk with, interview a couple different bridal brands, founders and things like that. And again, that's why I love everything, is like getting to hear the story behind it. And I also fell in love with this dress. So everyone tell John Michael to buy it for me. I want to dye it black and just wear it all the time. Okay, that's Bridal Fashion Week. That's what we got. The next one is in April, and I'll be interested to see kind of what that looks like. I think fundamentally after the election, I think election years, the industry is interesting right now. The wedding industry is interesting right now. Things were kind of weird leading up to the election. Now that there has been an election, I'll be interested to see like what, if any, effects take and shape the wedding industry. And we'll kind of see those trickle down effects over the next couple of years, especially in fashion. So that's Weddings with Laur. I hope you enjoyed it. That's what we have. Woo! Weddings with Laur.